Hello and welcome to another video. I just hit my legs against the desk. Today I'm going to be drawing some spaceships basically, and I'm going to be using just two things. First thing is this basic color pencil. I think this is just a Derwent watercolor pencil, but I'm just going to use it as a colored pencil, and I like to use a light color, and you'll see why in a minute. And the second thing is this Micron pen, and it's a 0.1, I believe. What does it say? Right there, 0.1. So I'm just going to be using these two things to draw today. And the basic premise is that you take simple shapes and you create something out of them. So what I'm going to do, and the reason I choose a light color is, and I'm going to start up here, I am going to create a generic shape. Like, let's say, and it's going to be really hard for the camera to pick up this color, but let's just say that it does. And this is like some boxy shape, okay? Okay, we got this like boxy shape right here, and then like there we go. That's it. And then some shadow. All right. So we have the basic premise. We have one shape, and I take my basic shape. I don't really have any plans for it. I don't have anything concrete for it, and I'm going to create a spaceship out of it. So first thing I'm going to do is create some lines here, and the idea behind this is that using this technique you can create some interesting shapes, interesting designs, without actually committing to anything in a larger scale, like being committed to making sure something ends up perfect or something like that. So I'm going to give, and I kind of have some ideas that I want to incorporate into this spaceship, okay? And I'll write those out in a minute just so you guys can see them. Yeah, you can kind of see already it's taking shape. It's just a really basic spaceship, and I'm going to give it some design elements here, maybe like little outlines, something like that. And I always do this at the end, is outline the outermost edge, just darken it a little bit. And this is just so I can really check out the silhouette and see if this would make an interesting design or if it's a boring silhouette or something to that extent. So you can kind of see this taking shape right here. And let me give this like another panel thing. I don't know, something like that. And then a basic shape, shade in the bottom. And then the last thing I'll do is I'll take the original pencil and I will shade in, just kind of to give some contour. In other words, some contrast to how the ship is looking. So I will usually do something like this. So let me outline some of the basics that I want to go for with my ship designs. So, and I'll put them up here. Number one, I want a car-like grill. And that's number one. Number two, headlights. These are just some ideas that I have. Number three, a sleek look. So I want it to be very smooth. I don't want it to be too over-designed. And number four, has to have a bubble or cockpit. Kind of like that. You see that this is like a nice little bubble of a cockpit up there. So these are like my 4 rules that I'm going for as I create this. And when you are doing this, having different rules like this is a really good way, and establishing them, writing them down, and then continually reinforcing them and using them and referring to them is a very, very good way to make sure you stay on track for what you're looking for. Now, here's how I would do this on a normal page. I would, instead of doing one at a time, I would create different shapes. For example, let's do something like this, like with a little bit of this, like something like that. Okay, and then like one of those, the shadow on the bottom. And then let's do one more shape right here. We'll do, I don't know, maybe something, I don't know even, maybe just a flat rectangular shape, something like this, you know, just something like that. Oh, I make it taper off, something like that. And maybe I'll put the bubble on top, and this one too, the bubble on top and the back. And maybe I want it with the bubble in the front, so let me try that too. So, and the idea here is that I'm creating different shapes to give myself variety and also give myself room to try different things. So this one, for example, I want the bubble in the front. I want that like the cockpit is in the front, something like that. And again, these are really, really basic. And let's try a few more. Let's try again, there's not a lot of thought put into these, and I'm not married to any of them. I'm just going to create a bunch of different ones and then go from there and see which one I like. And normally I would do this for pages and pages until I find something that I like. And for example, if I really liked this one, then I would take this one and draw it from different angles, different views, and try drawing different trim and different things on it to make sure I got the design the way I want it. So let's go ahead and try this one. We want that bubble shape on top.
Alright, now as you can see, I'm kind of trying to blast through this as I go, because I figured you guys wouldn't want to hear me rambling in between trying to focus on lines, shadows, design, and what I'm saying. Balancing all three is actually more difficult than it sounds, at least more difficult than it sounds effectively, so I thought I would do a voice narration for this part. Now, what you're probably going to notice is that I take a little bit of a break, I step away, and then I come back a couple times. The idea here is that I want to do fresh ideas and fresh concepts, so to do that sometimes you need to walk away and just kind of let yourself breathe and do something else and change your mindset. You'd be surprised how much a change in scenery, or doing something as simple like what I did, which was pause the video, go outside to the parking lot, kind of stretch a little bit, take a look at some of the cars, and then come back. And this third design that I'm working on is very hot rod like. And you kind of see me pointing out that it looks sleek, it has everything I want, the headlights, it has the grille, it has everything I'm looking for, and it also kind of resembles a hot rod. And then I change it up completely, and I go into this fourth design, and I have in mind kind of like a futuristic train or something. And I really like this design. I might actually end up using it now with more of a level head, and having taken some distance from this video, I can kind of see that that's one of the designs that stuck out to me the most. And these last two that I'm going to be doing, they're kind of interesting designs, and they came from kind of this idea of having an old school version of a Porsche, and then thinking about like a TIE fighter or a pod racer, and do something along those lines.
Alright, so let's continue. Again, the key is to understand what we're looking for, not to come up with a perfect design on the first try. I read somewhere, I saw a TED Talk, and they said, you know what, the first 500 words that I ever wrote were garbage, and I threw them away and no one will ever see them. And even though that's kind of an exaggeration, I kind of agree with that a lot of the first stuff that I draw is really bad, but there's a semblance of a good idea somewhere in there, and so I want to pull that out. And once I get enough ideas down on the page to where I can look at them and say, you know what, this is what I really want, then I can find something that's really iconic looking. But the first couple will look really terrible. Like, these are not very inspired designs, they're kind of lazy. This one started to be a little bit more interesting. This one's a lot more interesting. And so you can kind of see that as you progress, trying different things, forcing yourself to think differently, you will come up with different designs. So let's try this one. This one was the really weird one that I kind of thought about, and I thought, hey, this might be cool to try. And that is such an interesting look for a ship. I've never seen something like this, almost like a TIE fighter, but it's different enough to evoke that sensation without copying or without, taking something without permission. You want to be inspired by something, but not copy it outright. So hopefully this video was able to help you understand how to an idea and a tip you can use to go over different designs for ships and stuff like that. I'll show you guys some of the other ones I've been working on. Here's some more designs for ships, and I'll put it like that. And you can kind of see, actually, I can just do this. You can kind of see how these look. Very interesting different shapes. And for this page, I started off by drawing just in yellow, entirely different shapes for each one. And then, and this one, I kind of had a feeling that this one would go like that. I don't know. I don't know what these are. But here's some more. Again, more shapes, more interesting shapes lead to very interesting designs. And I'll show you the last one, because I know I did at least one more page. There it is. And you can kind of see more interesting designs, more interesting shapes, more interesting ideas here in all of this. Some of these don't work. This one's clumsy, but you get a sensation, and then you like it.
I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. If you want, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram or check out my Etsy store to see if there's any art you'd like to purchase. You can also check out last week's video by simply clicking on the video right here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Take care.